I would say maybe a habit that I try to do is, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but almost staying in my lane. I try not to get distracted by what other people are doing, and I don't worry about competition. I don't try to worry if someone else is trying to do what I'm doing or stepping on my toes. And I tell a lot of my friends that are in business too, they start kind of getting a little wound up about somebody else talking about doing what they do. And I'm like, just stay focused. Just keep your eyes straight ahead, focus on what you do and do it well. Don't get distracted. Those are just distractions. So I think that's something besides, like I said, getting myself pumped up on music and podcasts in the morning, and then just trying to stay focused on what I do, making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing to the best of my ability. I use the example of when was it Hardee's that was trying to make burritos, or when Taco Bell tries to make a hamburger. I'm just like, no, don't screw with the system. Do what you do. Don't be weird. If you make a really good hamburger, just make a really good hamburger. Don't throw in something like a burrito. You're Hardee's. Be Hardee's. Be the best Hardee's you can be.
You guys have been doing this about 10 years in the biz side. What's the weirdest or funniest request you've had over the years?
Chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders
and French fries. Just
like dinosaur shapes, or what kind of shapes they want?
They wanted dinosaur shapes.
We just,
yeah.
We've had in this particular client, it was, the budget, the sky was the limit for his baby girl, whatever she wanted. And we were kind of like, oh, okay, well, let's kind of talk about some things that you like. Let's talk about, and when she dropped chicken tenders, but we said, I don't know if this is really going to be that good of a fit, but anytime, I'll go back to that. The guy had said, well, I told you there's no budget. So whatever it is, but that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter. Like if it's not a good fit and we can't show ourselves the way that we do, we don't want it. We don't want that. I don't want chicken tender. No offense.
Y'all are better than me. I'd have charged him 10x the chicken tender price. And if he wants to elevate, I'll put on a higher table.
Well, great question. I was a reluctant entrepreneur. I tried to get into the workforce when I got here almost 30 years ago. And at that time, I had a marketing degree, fresh marketing degree. And I had engineering experience. So I was like, yeah, this is a slam dunk. I'm going to get a job in Huntsville because I got engineering experience. But no, I didn't have an engineering degree. So I couldn't find a job. I applied and I never got called back. So my husband and I decided, all right, we'll start our family. So now I have a 15-year gap because I was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years. Now when I try to come back again, nobody really wants to talk to me. So I was like, okay, nobody's offering me a seat at the table. I had to create my own table. And so I started my own business. I was doing some consulting work with small businesses and just doing some business development. And I'm going out to networking events, and, networking is kind of my jam. That's how I built my reputation and all. And people would say, hey, can you do that for my business? Can you do that for my business? I'm like, whoa. People will pay me to do marketing. This is what I'm going to do. And so face-to-face marketing was born right then and there in 2015.
What's the biggest mistake people make with their podcasts?
I think, often going into it thinking that all you have to do is talk, I think is often kind of the misconception. There's a lot more to have a successful podcast than just the actual conversations. It's your ability to market it. It's your ability to capture good content. It's not necessarily always the equipment. Like I think sometimes people get a hiccup of like, hey, I have to have this really nice equipment. It's like, I started my podcast with a single Blue Yeti mic and my laptop and didn't even record the first episode through the mic. It was through my laptop. And it's like my second most listened to episode ever. And so like the equipment's not the issue. It's just realizing that there's a lot more that's involved with it. And it's not something that's going to happen overnight. I think people get this idea that like, I'll start a podcast and 3 months later, I'll be famous. It's like, that's not the case. I've been doing it 6 years and there's still people that have no idea that I do a podcast. So you have to be willing to go in it for the long run. And if you go in willing and eager to learn more and have genuine conversations, and you go in because you love it, you're more likely to keep doing it.
I would say, do not be afraid of hard work. Do not doubt yourself. There's plenty of times when you will, but look for those little signs along the way. Maybe it's an encouraging word from a friend. Maybe it's a stranger who stops you to tell you that they love what you do. But just know that it's hard work and there's going to be challenges, but to know in your heart that you're on the right path and you're doing the right thing, and to always look for those mentors, look for people who have been in your place, and maybe they're not in the exact same industry as you, but they're leaders in business and they've run a successful business. And, me, myself, I always try to give it to God. When things are hard, just ask for his help, and he seems to always be there.
Let's be real. Any day we can quit. The path of being an entrepreneur is not sunshine and unicorns every day, no matter what is portrayed out there on the social media or whatever, the awards that you earn. It's full of those moments of, as I said, how do you make the next payroll? How I need another person, but I can't afford them right now. I have to pay how much in taxes? What? Where did this come from? But I'm a little competitive. And I'm super stubborn sometimes. So yeah, I'm just like, cheers to the haters, and let's just prove everybody else wrong, and let's just continue to grow this. There's a lot of people in the beginning who were like, oh, that's cute. Veronica's gonna, consult a person or two, and this will be a little side hustle for her, and, almost like patting me on the head. And so that's what I say each day is cheers to the haters to, I'm going to keep getting up every day to support my clients, and that's number one. And number two is always to prove the haters wrong. And so, what people thought was a side hustle, I knew would be valuable to clients and to our community. And I knew there was tremendous growth potential. So I'm just going to continue to be me, continue to support my clients how they need to be supported until the last client doesn't need me anymore. So I'm here to stay.
I just never knew what I wanted to have a business and doing what. And so growing up, my mom used to have me going door to door, making sales and things like that so that I could pay for my private school tuition. And sometimes we'd be in front of liquor stores and stuff and having literature and stuff. And I hated that, man. I hated it. I felt like I was begging. It was just awkward. You're walking up to people, strangers that you just don't know. But the thing is that as a business person, I learned later how big of an influence that was. It built something in me to make me want to do business. And then my grandmother, she was probably legally blind. And so she would have, back then, I'm dating myself, but she would have cassettes that, since she couldn't read it, except for with that big old quadruple focus lens, magnifying glass, she would just listen to it. So she would have me reading tapes for like $5 a tape. So she was like, you can have anything that you want. And she meant it, but it's $5 a tape. So that was a whole hour that me as a young kid, maybe 11, 12 or something like that. So I learned how to make money, and that all that just ended up being a piece for me getting into entrepreneurship, just learning the work ethic of entrepreneurship, learning the hustle, learning how to make those sales. And that's where I ended up.